to the Cemetery Gates podcast, featuring Xander Kane and Android Virus. Welcome back to the Cemetery Gates podcast. I'm Android Virus, joined by my illustrious, awesome-ass, badass motherfucking co-host, Mr. Xander Kane.
Hey, that's me. I'm here.
What's up? What's up, buddy?
You know, I'm here ready to go. We're about to play another fun game of Did Xander Pick a Porno on this week's episode of Cemetery Gates, which has been like 3 out of the last 5.
Dude, you've been on a roll.
Yeah.
You've been on a roll with these. Yeah, you've been on a roll with these.
Just reliving that Skinamax life from my youth, I guess.
What I text you? Nice softcore porn, bro. Like,
yeah.
Goddamn. Oh, son of a bitch! It was so funny. Yeah. We're gonna have to get an intro for you. We're gonna have to produce one.
Theme music, something.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna use. I can find some nice 70s porn music on YouTube somewhere. It's all free now, so
yeah.
You know, we'll look for something for you. So this'll be great, man. I can't wait, by the way, to talk about the movies tonight.
Yeah, we did all right.
Some fun surprises.
Let
me ask you a question. Did you ever see the one I picked?
Yeah, I actually own it.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
I got it from an Arrow sale a while back, but I was totally okay with talking about it because
good. It's good for our show.
It is
perfect for our show. I had never seen it. It was a blind pick. I love the blind picks. Sometimes they are purposeful, but most of the time, I want to say 9 out of 10 times, my picks are blind, and I like to watch shit that I've never seen before. That's the thing.
Right. Which is part of the reason why I wind up getting softcore porn.
Let me tell you what I've been watching, man.
All right.
Well, okay. So first things first is I really dug deep into. It was just on TV, and we sat through the whole thing. The Thing, can't go wrong with The Thing.
Yeah.
Ever. We did The Sixth Sense, right? And keep in mind, these are things that I had never. I've seen all these before. So, Predator 2, I sat through that one, which I like.
I do like Predator 2. I know a lot of people hate it, but I think it's all right. That's actually the first one I saw. Was Predator 2. Yeah, because it was when we went to rent it. Predator 1 was checked out, and I was like, well, fuck it, I guess I'll watch Predator 2. So I watched Predator 2 first as a kid.
And you could do the prequel gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, cool, I can watch the prequel now. What did else? I mean, completely different movies in a weird respect. You know what I mean? Like 1 and 2, and then
completely.
And then it's very hit and miss with the Predator movies after that. Very hit and miss. Although I do enjoy Predators. I like that. I think Predators is pretty cool. But the Predator, like the last one, oof. Some people like it, some people don't. But what else did I check out? I watched Friday the 13th Part 4 with the twins. Told you they were getting into shit.
Yeah.
My boys are making their old man happy by just deep diving into horror. And, it made me realize that I need to step up my fucking Blu-ray game. Oh my God, like severely step up my Blu-ray game. Yeah. But
I have duplicates of some blues, so I'll go through.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'll take them off your hands, but I'll send you a little present too if you want. But
your friendship is enough.
Oh, thank you, sir. They're gonna. By the way, I'm just letting you know ahead of time. They're gonna rat on me Scott and Heather on the next podcast.
What is that?
You. They're gonna
What'd
tell
you
on
do?
me to you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're gonna tell on me, and I'm like,
all right.
dude. I was like, I don't know if I should let you know on the show now what they're gonna tell on me about, or if I should wait for it. But I think I should tell you now.
Okay.
So my friends are crazy. We're all a little nutty out here, and a lot of us. Let's just take this into the context of I live in a part of the country. I live in New Mexico, where we did not become a part of the Union until 1912. Okay, before then it was just a territory, and before that it was New Spain. Okay, so please, everybody out there, consider the context of what I'm talking about. We don't have the racial tensions that the rest of the country have. Okay, so I'm just putting this out there. Okay, it's just a forewarning. So a lot of things people really aren't offended out here by that they are at most other parts of the country. And I'm not like saying, well, you have no right to be offended. That's fine. You can do that, whatever. But it's just something that people don't look at as like threatening, right? So you being in Atlanta, right? The Confederate flag is like a no-no, right? Like for a lot of people, it's like a no-no.
Well, it's a no-no for people in the city of Atlanta, but it's like everywhere outside of Atlanta.
And
So
and it's weird, like in the context that we take it in, because me and my wife were talking about it, us both being like, Latin, Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, Mexican, I don't know, but like just mix. We're just a mix of all the Latin, not all the Latin races, but we're just mixed, right? And we were talking about the Confederate flag, her and I, and she's just like, you know what? She goes, I just thought it was like a loser flag. Like it didn't.
she's
like,
right. She's
like,
right.
I was like, me too. And she goes, and people who fucking flew it, I was just like, okay, whatever. It's not threatening to me, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and she goes, Duke's a hazard. Duke's a hazard. And I know, like, same thing. So Mona, our friend Mona, who's fucking insane like I am and like we all are, she was at the secondhand store and she found a Confederate flag tank top. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So she bought it for $1. And we put it on my dog as a cape. And my son was holding it up. And then so Heather's like, really? Because, Heather. I love Heather. Heather, really? I just find that
Android.
Yes, Android. Find it so offensive. And I said, well, Heather, I said, what I'm doing is I am painting my dog as a skeleton on Halloween, because you can find those skeleton paints. You can find those paints for dogs on Halloween. I was on, he's going to wear the flag as a cape, and he's going as the ghost of the South for Halloween. She's like, she couldn't hate it no more. I completely fucking disarmed her hate. I'm telling Xander on you. I want to know what your partner thinks about this. I was like, tell him. But she's going to bring it up. Her and Scott are going to be like, you want to know what this motherfucker did? I'm like, no, it's the intention's not that. The intention is just.
But we'll probably record again before we post this show, so they will be none the wiser.
Right. So we won't say nothing.
So I'm going to like flip out.
Do you want to? Do you want to set him up?
We should set him up.
You motherfucker. I think we're done, dude. I think we're done. Let's just do it, bro. Come on. Just let's pull a little fucking. Let's do it. Let's work him. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm done. Fuck you. Like, well, let's just do it, dude. Oh.
Scott would be devastated.
Oh.
He'd be like, no, guys, no.
I didn't mean nothing. I'm sorry. All right, we're doing it. They're not going to hear. I'm not going to post this before we record next time. So I just posted our last episode, so we'll be good to go.
We're fine.
It'd be funny. So, okay. So speaking of Unforgivables, I watched. You're going to really laugh at me about this one.
Don't say the Craft Legacy.
No.
Okay, thank God.
The Mummy 1 and 2.
Those are stupid fun to me, though.
Back to back.
I don't know if I'd watch them back to back, but
2 is
enjoyable.
2 is not as good as 1.
Nah.
The CGI is awful. They're completely outlandish. The acting is, but you know what?
It's Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I saw him in the theaters. And it's probably the worst CGI ever known. Notoriously, the Scorpion King,
right.
The Rock. It's just like a cartoon in the movie. It's so bad. But anyways, so that's what I've been watching. But
nice.
I need to step up my new horror game, sir. I need to step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I'm watching any new horror is like for the show.
Yeah, well, we don't watch that much new horror.
I know. What have you been checking out?
Dude, so I recently snagged up that Vestron release of Warlock 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh.
With Julian Sands. I think I got it for like $16 or something stupid. I was like, I'll get that. So I rewatched Warlock 1, which is fucking silly as shit. It's just fucking like Julian Sands is just like floating around and is all CG floating through the sky, through the barn, and CG is awful in it.
Is it CG or is it like the whole weatherman trick, blue screen?
It's like the weatherman trick when he's like floating in the air, but it's just so the whole movie is completely fucking silly. I still enjoy it, but it's not a great movie. Like it's not anything. But I don't remember Warlock 2 or 3 at all, which was the main reason I bought it. So I'm gonna watch the other two later, but I did watch Warlock.
Who was in the first one? Heather.
And the first one is Julian Sands and Laurie Singer.
Yeah, Laurie Singer. She was. She wasn't Supergirl, was she?
She was Lois Lane, right? Or wait, she was something in that universe.
I know she was in. She was in Footloose, but she was not Supergirl. I always get her confused with Supergirl. But she's in all kinds of stuff, but I don't think she was Supergirl.
No. Footloose is her big one. So
yeah.
And then outside of that, I watched cool anime from 1995 called Memories. That's just like an anthology of like these 3 weird like science fiction tales.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fucking cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I don't know why I randomly decided to watch that the other day, but I did.
Speaking of which, had you ever seen Legend of the Overfiend?
I don't think so.
Are you aware of them?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And then I did watch the In Search of Darkness Part 2 documentary on Shudder, which is pretty good. It was nice to see some films on there that weren't so mainstream. So In Search of Darkness, it's a great documentary. It looks good. There's a lot of work. You know, the production value is great and it's informative. But like the first one was like way too much time spent on, like the big 3 franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Too much time on Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Freddy. And now this one still touches on some of those again, but it's later entries in the series. You got some random stuff like Razorback, which is a fucking awesome Australian horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you finally get a little, few little droplets of some a little more harder to find stuff, but it is a good documentary. I could only imagine watching these documentaries if you'd never seen a horror movie before. Like it gives you all the things you need to know, but like with the In Search of Darkness, I just don't like if you're just a seasoned horror movie person, you're not really gonna find any new movies that you haven't really.
You're like, man, I'm gonna make my own.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like I said, they're done well. They're informative. They're still worth watching. They're supposedly making a part 3. And if they do, they're going to be supposedly putting one of my favorite movies of all time in it, I believe. So
what's that?
That's Possession from 1981 with Sam Neill, one of my fucking top 5 favorite horror films of all time.
I'll have to watch it. I might be re-upping my horror favorite. My favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing. I mean, just it's got everything in it for me. But I've watched it so many times, and I'm not saying I'm bored of it, but it's also one of those situations where you're like, should I look for a new top favorite horror movie? What what movie is gonna, that I just got to think about that,
Yeah. So, fun fact, on my Letterboxd, I'm working through like my favorite horror movies, but I'm breaking them down by genre. And the only list I have almost done right now is my favorite vampire films. And there's like 70 on there. So after I finish this, I'll move on and then just kind of go through all those lists and narrow them down even further. But it's been fun though.
Yeah, favorite I mean, shit.
There's a ton.
There's really good vampire films out there, man. Really good ones. I hope that one you turned me on to, Made Our Show, is one of your favorite ones.
Which one?
With I forget the name. God damn it. It's a newer one.
Boys from County Hell?
No, it's probably 2014-ish, maybe.
Oh, okay.
2013-ish, maybe. God damn it. We're going to spend all the recording fucking figuring it out.
Kiss of the Damned?
Yes. Good.
Javier Gems. Yeah.
That's great. Love that one.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Got my my kids have been watching a lot of shit, and the twins are just like, I went into the living room and they had all my Blu-rays just all, we're watching this, we're watching this, we're watching this, we're watching this, we're watching this. What's Night of the Bloody Apes about? What's I Drink Your Blood about? Just going on down the list. What's this? What's, My Bloody Valentine? And, I got a lot of cool air releases. I got like, Spring Break, aka The Mutilator, Blood Rage, got a lot of shit, man. But I'm just like, I need to up my game though, in Blu-rays, like I said. I mean, and they've seen most of the big ones. But they're like, well, what's the most brutal Friday the 13th? And I'm like, Part 4. Let's watch it. Let's put it on. And they're like, God damn, that was fucking mean. It is mean. And again, fun fact on the show, and maybe we should do this further down the line. Still haven't seen Friday 13th Part 5.
You've never seen it?
Nope.
I didn't know that.
Never seen the new beginning.
Well.
And I own the box set. The fucking over $200 box that came out.
I'm going to be honest and say that you should just never watch that one and leave it a gap in your viewing history, just to irritate people. It's the same reason I refuse to watch the original Psycho.
Oh.
Because I know the entire movie and I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know the entire movie too.
Yeah, I've seen the sequels. I've seen the TV show. Bates Motel is great. But yeah, I've just never gone back and watched it. People are like, you haven't seen Psycho? I was like, I don't need to see Psycho.
I don't need to. I don't need to see Friday. And you know what? It's even a fucking a bigger fucking salt in the wound. I own a replica Friday the 13th Part 5 hockey mask made by NECA.
The fuck?
Yeah. Yep.
You should collect all the Friday the 13th Part 5 stuff that you can get and just be like, nah, I've never seen it. Just collect the stuff for that movie only.
Such a dick move, dude. Oh, you're right. And what's funny, I own 2 copies of it. I own the original box set that came out like in, I don't know, somewhere in the early to mid 2000s. It wasn't Blu-ray, it was just the DVD set. And then and the only reason why I got it is because 3D came with some 3D glasses.
Right.
And those are really cool. And then I bought the new box set that just came out, the 40th anniversary or whatever. And with all the original artwork and the posters, and it's still sealed. And I haven't watched it, but yeah, there you have it, man. All right, so let's get to the movies here, sir. And
let's do it.
We're gonna do yours first.
All right.
We gotta get into this. Great movie of yours.
All right.
Right. So
I wasn't ready. I don't have to go first. So give me a second here.
We're gonna flip it around on you this time. And if between now and then I decide to produce a little is it porn with Xander Kane, it'll play on this podcast sometime.
Yes, it will be a good time.
1982's Demon Rage, which goes by a million other names. I don't know if you want to cover.
Demon Seed is one of the other names, but it's not. I was curious because we were talking about it, but there's another movie from the late 70s that also goes by the name Demon Seed, but this is 4 or 5 years after, so I don't think that's why they have an alternate title.
Yeah, there's a lot of names. There's Dark Eyes, Fury of the Succubus, Demon Seed, Demon Rage, Satan's Mistress. All I know is my wife's like, "What are you watching?" I'm Demon Rage, and she goes, "Well, why does it say Demon Seed on the screen?" So
that's a good question.
So you sure you got the right movie? I'm like,
And then you called me.
You're watching the right movie? Yes. Okay. And then I'm watching it, and she's like, "Oh my god, look at the size of that girl's saucer-sized nipples." And I said, "Oh, I better turn this off and save it for tomorrow because kids are gonna walk in any minute."
Good thing you did.
There you go. So that's our review. I gave it. I'm just kidding. So, all right, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take it away.
At the beginning of this movie, you actually get like a little story at the beginning, and I'm just going to read what the screen says so you kind of know what we're going in for here. It's kind of a synopsis, basically. So I wanted to read this instead of do like an IMDb one. So it says, the story you are about to see is based on the unusual experiences of a Northern California woman, as passion and love, once the cornerstones of her marriage, eroded this woman, became desperately lonely. There is a growing belief that in the world of psychic phenomenon, the loneliness of a human being may be our direct link to the supernatural.
Oh, that's how you set up That's how you set this movie up. There you go.
I know. If you don't read that, if you don't know that, you miss out like on everything. Well, the movie starts off a lot like The Entity, right? With Barbara Hershey. So this lady's just like or actually she's running through the beach. She's having a dream of running through the beach, being chased by somebody, and she kind of just wakes up and like she's like in a cold sweat, and her daughter comes in there, and like you could tell she's like, I don't know, it like when she's rolling around, she's having a nightmare, but she also looks like she's orgasming. Like it's just every time she has one of these visions, that's like there's definitely some sexuality exuding.
One of them fun nightmares.
Yeah. And I thought it was hilarious at the beginning because like she wakes up and her daughter comes in there and her nips are just totally hanging out of her lingerie or her nightie or whatever in there. But yeah, so we see like this lady as the thing, she's lonely, but she keeps having these visions or experiences, and she basically keeps getting like, not really raped, but like, I don't know, something is like attaching itself to her, and like you see these weird like projections of lights and shit going on, and sometimes you can make out like a dude's face, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
I wouldn't, yeah, and I don't know if I would necessarily call it like a sexual assault or a rapey type of situation. The reason being is she's kind of like, the Dracula movies. She's enjoying it.
Yeah.
She's reciprocating.
It's just, yeah, she's experiencing something for sure.
Because she's a lonely housewife.
Yeah.
Neglected.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Because her husband's like an architect or something, and he's been busy working on a mall or some shit. So their, relationship is strained. But there's a super weird scene at the beginning where they have like some friends over, and oddly, one of them is a psychic, the female. And then her husband starts talking about like ravishing this other lady. He's like, "Oh, if she was my wife, I'd ravish her morning and night, and maybe even a couple times during the day."
Whoa.
And like everybody's laughing. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude coming over for dinner talking about making moves on this dude's wife, who's like basically depressed at dinner? Like she's all sad, like she's the equivalent of like, the kid not wanting to eat their broccoli and pushing broccoli off the plate. Like the wife is the main character is like so disengaged, and this dude's all about like, hey, we're gonna get I would do bad things to you. And it's like, everybody's cool with this? Like, cool, really? They're not swingers. It's absolutely ridiculous. But, the movie goes on. She keeps getting assaulted by the demon. And eventually she decides to like move to a separate place on the property to not be with her, like to isolate herself.
Did you talk about the daughter and the cat scratch?
Oh no, that happens right at dinner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this random cat comes in,
glowing eyes.
Yeah, and the dad thinks it's that the daughter brought it in, but she didn't bring it in, and she tries to get rid of it, and it scratches her on her arm and kind of takes off. So that was kind of a pretty big plot point at that point. But damn, excuse me. So yeah, that created like some family drama, and because dad's mad at daughter, and then later on in the movie, I think the wife gets spiritually assaulted again at some point, but it gets like they get a little more intensified, and there's a bunch of weird, moaning and groaning and lights blurring in and out going on the whole goddamn time. And then late after the mom has gone to she removed herself from the house basically, so she went to another section of the house so she could be alone, and the whole idea is the lonelier you are, the more attached the supernatural is becoming to her. So when she decides to kind of isolate, things start like getting more intense in the supernatural realm, and like the power goes out or something, and the dad goes down into this medieval fucking basement that I have no idea why there's armor and like guillotines. All this weird and guillotines and shit down there.
Yeah.
And he almost gets his head fucking chopped off by a knight's like axe. But like, so it's just a bunch of weird shit going on constantly. And the dad is trying to figure out how to win his wife back. And he eventually is like talking to the psychic friend, and she starts telling him like, hey, she's explaining basically what you read at the very beginning of the movie about how, the supernatural stuff works, how it's attaching to the wife. And so they kind of get all that figured out. And then when they finally get the husband and wife finally get like back together, they're like getting kind of touchy feely in the kitchen. And then all of a sudden that cut from the daughter where the scratch was like fucking starts bleeding or whatever. And before they can leave, the cut like closes back up and there's nothing like wrong. She's like, what? So I don't know if that's supposed to be like the demon coming out.
Yeah, it's like it wouldn't stop bleeding. Like it's really bleeding this time.
Yeah, so it's just a random scene. Like that's why the cat thing's kind of important, because if you miss that part, you're like, why the fuck is she randomly bleeding? But honestly, it doesn't really explain that much more. But then you get like a super awesome hot tub scene where it starts boiling, the psychic lady and the mom. And then the dad gets ghost violated later.
Yeah, he's getting ghost violated by a chick ghost.
Right.
They kind of have like this weird backstory of like...
You see the chick ghost in the basement earlier when he's in the medieval room, in the medieval basement. You see her like, she's like there. So she's a supernatural being, and you kind of put two and two together. And the male counterpart that his wife is seeing, you slowly start to see them together in more of these like supernatural possession, whatever scenes. So those two are like in on it together. In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's these like, and then there was a fuzzy scene in there with a monster, I feel like. Like a weird fuzzy, like she was having like, I don't know, it was weird, dude. Like that. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So once he gets, after the dad gets violated, there's like the ghost demons come in and basically kill the psychic lady's husband. And we're going to spoil this movie, so not that anyone's going to watch it other than you and I.
Right. Right.
So
let's put it out. Let's put this out there, because I'm going to give you some really good comparisons.
So like the psychic lady's husband gets killed. And like they figure out like she's the psychic, so obviously she knows what the hell's going on. So her thing is like, well, killing him was a warning, because if the ghost or demon or whatever kills you, then that'll like plummet the wife into like this, she won't be lonely anymore, or I don't know, like it won't work. So like they killed him as a warning. And so they go back, and there's like some pretty much anticlimactic ending the basement goes up in flames,
Mm.
and then they're like, "Oh, hey, this is Satan."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just the ending's pretty anticlimactic. They get in the basement, the house gets on fire. They're trying to rescue the wife and get the daughter, and then the daughter's like partially possessed. Her eyes turn all red, and then the house fucking burns down, and then you get like a happy beach scene, and then oh no, the mom's possessed. Her eyes are red, and that's the end of the fucking movie. So it's like all for nothing at the end of the fucking day.
Really, and it's
But
very like there's not a whole lot. I mean, there's very little blood. There is a. Let's just start off with saying that the copy that we saw on Tubi is very grainy.
and dark.
And very dark.
Yeah.
It's like directly ripped off of a fucking VHS tape that was rewound 1,000 times.
And I know we didn't talk about the sex, but there's sex and nudity in it a lot.
A lot.
And the scenes typically go like far too long. Like of moaning and nudity. You're like, all right.
It's very early 80s, late 70s made for TV drama type of acting and storytelling and pacing, with lots of nudity and sex. And there is one good beheading scene that I kind of made out in it a little bit. I don't know if you caught that one.
Yeah.
The guy did get his head caught in the eventually.
That was her husband, or the psychic lady's husband.
Yeah, and that was pretty decent. There were some creepy things, like with the daughter being kind of weirdly possessed, and kind of the faces that they made. I mean, there was some a little bit of creepy things in it that I found a bit haunting.
There was one scene in the basement that when everything was up in flames, and I guess demon lady is like peeking through the small break in the brick.
Yeah,
like that's a really cool like visual right there.
Yeah,
like, that was a cool scene there toward the end that I liked.
Yeah, I like that one. And the actress, the main actress, isn't it? Was an ex-Bond girl. And it was kind of funny. She's like in her mid to late 40s in this, and she does not mind getting completely nude in it. Which, I mean, it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't look bad. I mean,
no, not at all.
Not at all. But a lot of the stuff in it, like you said, it's just such a slow-paced movie. I feel like let me just tell you what I feel about this movie, because you explained the movie very well. This movie almost had the feel of a kind of a Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Pacing wise,
but not as well acted. Because I enjoy Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I think that I think
it's a great movie.
Great. I think it's great. And then it has the cheapness of like super low budget, but not like shot on camera low budget. I mean, obviously they shot this in one house on the beach somewhere.
Beautiful house.
Yes, I feel like this is something that you would have seen like on an old without the nudity, and it could have been a half hour to an hour long on that Rod Sterling's. What was that show? Night Visions? What was that?
Yeah.
I forget it was after the Twilight Zone. You remember Rod Sterling did a show? I think it is
Night Visions. I think, or no, it's I don't know. I'm not
Night something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend to be a badass fucking podcaster that knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did like, it feels like it should have been like an anthology TV series.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like it really feels like that, but
it's Night Gallery.
It seems like it could have definitely fit into a Night Gallery episode.
Yeah, I found it this one's so hard for me, honestly, man. Like it was like trying to pay attention to this thing was fucking exhausting.
Rough.
Like rough. There's just like I said, like even like the weird stuff that happens, like some of it just drags on too long. The story drags on too long. There's nothing really happening ultimately. The story's not this like crazy in depth, because they don't really explain whether it's demons or ghosts, and then all of a sudden it's supposedly Satan. Like,
and then Satan at the end is wearing like a fucking complete jumpsuit leotard with his white face painted white.
I'm like,
ghost
I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, it was tough for me to really pay attention to this, but I do think there is some enjoyment out of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something weirdly endearing about it. I can't really quite put my finger on it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shit on it completely because we've seen some awful ones.
Right. That's what I got to think back to them. I go,
and I'm not.
Is it as bad as this movie? Is it as bad as that movie? No. So I have to rate it higher than those two.
Yeah, and I'm not as polarized on it as I was with like Bloodsucking Pharaohs. Like, I'm gonna I either hate this or I love it. It's not there. It's not. Doesn't give me that feeling. It's just, goddamn, like. When you say a period piece, you're talking about that weird early 1980s dreamy type of cinematography. You know what I mean? Like, almost like I want to say if we got a cleaned up version of this, would it even be that clean? Because I felt like the director might have put some Vaseline on the fucking camera.
Yeah,
type of shit.
Yeah, like I wanted it to be cleaned up so I could see. So I wanted some of the, because some of those scenes are really dark in the basement, especially when like there's a few scenes that are incredibly dark and you don't see shit.
No.
Like it needs a restoration, but does it really need a restoration? Like,
I don't know. Sound is bad.
Yeah, especially when they're outside and that ocean water is just like, that's another thing that was making it hard.
Overtaking everybody's voice.
Yeah, like there's so many scenes outside by the ocean and all you hear is the fucking waves and you're like, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't pot that fucking sound down a little bit and fucking wired some mics up to the side of the fucking hot tub they were sitting in. So you got some things going against you. You got the sound quality, you got the fucking film quality, you got the fucking lighting quality. Story is very, very slow paced, and it's a very basic story if you really look at it. You know what I mean? It's like lonely housewife getting fucked by a succubus, falls in love with the succubus.
Yeah, but the fact that she's like lonely is almost pointless, really. Like that. I don't know. I guess I just added another layer of the story for them, but like, I don't know. The daughter's lonely too. Like,
right.
But I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
so
What did you give this?
Oh man, So Demon Rage, like I said, I do think there are some redeeming factors here, and I think at some level it's somewhat interesting, but it's not a whole lot. So, I don't know if I mean a 2. I can't go any higher than a 2.
I can't either, brother. I
cannot. I don't want to give it a 1.
No,
it's not a 1. And the question is, like, would I watch it again? And the answer is maybe. And at 2, I could maybe watch it again. If I rated it at 1.5, I wouldn't watch it again. So that's why I stick at 2. So.
Yeah, would I? Yeah, 2 easily. It's not. I just feel like this is something that was probably played at a drive-in.
Right. For sure.
It's definitely second run. This is not a well-known movie at all.
Oh,
no. It's got maybe some actors. Oh, and let's not forget John Carradine in it for fucking 2 minutes as the priest, who for some reason gets like third billing. I don't know, which is really funny.
And basically, if you sneeze, you'd miss it.
Right.
Because he's only at the funeral, right?
Yeah, and a little narration after that. So, yeah, definitely a 2 out of 5 on this one, and it's not a strong 2.
No, it's barely a 2.
Like it eked into a 2. I mean, but I didn't hate it enough to be a 1. But because there are some small, endearing things about it that I really enjoyed. So,
and for us, I think like when we sit here and talk about it with each other, like we kind of. You kind of think about it a little more and like, okay, it merited a conversation, I think. So
absolutely. Some creepy creepy cinematography, some creepy shots.
I also don't think this guy directed anything else, by the way.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a producer in a ton of stuff, but
yeah,
that's it.
All right, so there you guys have it. So go check it out where you can. It's on Tubi for free. Good luck in finding a copy anywhere because it's not. Maybe on YouTube, but it ain't a cleaned up copy at all. Nothing has been restored in this motherfucker. Where somebody who works in the Tubi programming department's like, hey, I found this in my mom's basement on VHS.
My uncle was the grip on this movie.
Yeah, put it on. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and listen to the trailer for my next pick, which is going to be 1988's Doom Asylum. And we'll be right back.
But I'm worried now, that legend about the coroner?
Nobody ever got killed by a legend.
Back in a flash. And if I'm not, don't come looking for me.
All right, guys, that was the trailer for my picks, Doom Asylum. And once again, I did the old roulette and got this, and I sent it to you, and you have seen it before.
Yes, I have. I own it. I own a copy of it.
Man, I like this, but let's maybe it was my mood, but let's talk about this. So this is 1988's comedy slasher, as it's billed. Written by Rick Marks and directed by Richard Freeman. And not a lot of people in this movie other than you would probably get Patty Mullen, who's best known for Frankenhooker as the Frankenhooker. She is the pretty much the main star of the movie. And Kristen Davis's first film, who everybody knows Kristen Davis from Sex and the City.
Of course, duh.
Of course,
who doesn't know her from that? Right.
Oh, who doesn't know Sex and the City? I used to watch that with my wife back in the day. We watched Sex and I didn't mind it. I did not mind it, but it's okay. No, I think I tapped out towards the end of it. I don't know. I just watched it because I heard there was a lot of fucking in it, so I was just like, let's watch this. Maybe I could finally get to see Kim Cattrall naked because we didn't get to see her naked in Porky's. But all right, guys, and again,
you digress.
Yeah, Patty Mullen from Frankenhooker, who only did 2 movies. She did this and Frankenhooker.
Oh.
And was like Penthouse Pen of the Year, like 1985, 86 or some shit.
Yeah, she has conventions though. You can catch her at a convention.
Which is really cool. She just retired from Hollywood and went to be a mom. So hey, more power to her. But very basic plot here. An attorney and his fiance get into a car wreck right after they're talking about how they fucking scammed somebody.
Yeah, for like $5 million or some shit.
Yeah, and they're gonna ditch her kid off at her kid off at a I don't know, some
boarding school.
Yeah, and they're gonna go live their life in Mexico or some shit. And as they're celebrating with wine in the car, and she's pouring the bubbly on his penis, they wreck. And let's just put it to you this way, guys. This is a very low budget film. The budget was less than $1 million, $90,000. So you got to understand what we're playing with here as far as the budget is concerned. And it shows, but that's okay because I think it makes it work for him. But anyways, Ted, they take him to the morgue, and Ted isn't dead. And
what?
He's heartbroken. He's heartbroken, and you got the dudes committing the autopsy over him, eating sandwiches and wearing sunglasses for some odd reason.
Yeah, but I also love the little apprentice that's in there because he's like, he's not dead, and the old guy's like eating his sandwich like, it's rigor mortis, you'll learn.
Yeah. And he gets up and sees his dead babe, and he subsequently kills both of the guys committing the autopsy. And for some odd reason, he was having an autopsy at an asylum. Don't know why.
Right.
Never really explained.
No, there's a couple weird things about that, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, yeah, and so basically, here it kind of fast forwards. I don't know how many years.
It's 10 years. It's 10
years
years later,
and you get just your normal trope of
horny teenagers.
Yeah, you got what is it? Three guys and two girls,
Yeah.
and driving to this asylum, or no, to have a picnic or some shit. I can't even. And at the asylum itself, you got a punk band practicing, which is really funny. Okay,
It's the whole thing is this asylum's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, right? But yet there's this like super edgy like punk band practicing in the space.
Yeah, and what's funny about like the punk band is like
they suck.
They suck, yeah, and they're three girls, and like one's a hardcore communist, and like they give her like your typical like, like first of all, there's a hammer and sickle on the drums, and then like there's another chick who looks like who was actually the actress was in Playboy, and then you got like the drummer chick, and this is what's really funny, like the teenagers walk onto the asylum to go hang out in the grounds or whatever, and then this band's playing, and the dude gets out of the car. He's like this black dude, and he gets out of the car and he like turns their power off, and they get all pissed off, and they go look out the window. It's all those assholes. And what's funny is like there's a really funny line in it. And I got to point this out because the commie chick in it, she's like, "Those are the bourgeois or the burgois or whatever." What does she say? Like,
I don't even remember. And then she says some stuff about like Malcolm X and like what?
Yeah. You're like, what are you talking about? And like, but what's funny is like, it's so like kind of non-PC in the fact like the black chick immediately in the punk band immediately falls in love with the black dude in the group.
Right.
And she's like, they just meet
He's
eyes.
Cute.
And then they have like these like weird little like
moments in their own. Well, they're like their moments in their own head about basically
them running in a field to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, what the shit is this? I mean, it is so funny, man. Like, it's just got a bunch of weird little moments like that, and then like, so the guy who got in the car accident, the lawyer, all these years later, he's been posted up in the asylum for 10 years,
doing nothing,
watching horror movies, yeah. which they splice into the movie, black and white, to kind of tell the story a little bit.
He's watching Sweeney Todd, most of it.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's actually one of my kind of gripes about the movie is like there's like 15 minutes cut from that movie in this movie.
Yeah, dude. And the old Sweeney Todd, like the black and white one.
Yeah, and this movie's less than 80 minutes long, and 15 of it is actually Sweeney Todd.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about it is, and I'd like to, I mean, with me, I'm huge into ghost shows and shit like that, but they've actually filmed it in an abandoned asylum.
Yeah,
in New Jersey. Like,
yeah, the graffiti was great actually on the inside of the asylum. Like it felt like it felt kind of genuine, like in the graffiti style and like the random stuff that was like titties and just random shit teenagers would spray paint on there. Like it felt right. The atmosphere was spot on there.
I actually, because the titties that were spray painted with the name Tina over it, which is the blonde singer of the band, her name is Tina. And as she was fighting the bad guy, there's a part of the movie she's trying to fight the bad guy. You see it like Tina with titties underneath it and them fighting. I took a picture of it on my phone and I sent it to my friend Tina in Florida, and she just fucking responded. She's like, "That's awesome. I'm making that my cover on my Facebook or something like that." But anyway, yeah. So you just kind of got that creepy. The guy, he's disfigured. He wears a doctor suit. He's walking around, and he eventually just starts picking them off one by one in really fun ways.
Yeah, but like also the lead singer from the punk band is like trying to chase these teenagers down too and beat them up.
Yeah, so she's kind of getting blamed for it.
Yeah, there's a hilarious scene where the main blonde guy is like hanging over the ledge of the fucking roof, and she's like tapping his hands like to get him to
fall. He's like, "You bitch!" and they get into a fist fight.
And then he hears his girlfriend scream, and he just springs up like he jumped off a fucking diving board up over the top of the fucking rail back onto the roof and runs away. I was like, "What the fuck?" He was dangling for his life.
Yeah,
and then he shoots all the way up over the ledge. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was cool. Like not all the kills were like on-screen kills. Some were, some weren't, and some weren't.
Yeah, Darnell's was just like got choked. Darnell, the girl that was chasing Darnell. She just got like choked.
Darnell got like cattle, like he got like a clip, I forget. He got like something around his head. It wasn't even like.
Oh, it's like the forceps to pull the calf out. That's what it was.
Yeah. And like it just kind of squeezed his temples, but it wasn't like.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, there was probably some blood tubes behind the forceps and you couldn't see him. Yeah. And then like after he dies, the guy's like, "I hate rap music." Like it's like, oh so my stupid. God.
Yeah, and then, so there's a lot of moments with the killer where he's totally trying to do like the Freddy shtick, right?
Right.
He talks like in a different register into his voice, and he's always trying to make a pun.
Right. I do like the guy. There's a kid in it, not a kid, but there's a guy in it who's really obsessed with his baseball cards. And then
I forgot about that.
he gets that's a good scene, man. Actually, he gets a drill right to the forehead. Yeah. And that was a good gag because that was on however they did that was a good one. I don't know if they had a collapsing fucking bolt or a drill bit that went back into the driller, but however they did it, it turned out really good. So that everybody's getting picked off one by one. One of my favorite lines, and I think we were texting each other the lines as we were watching.
There's a ton of good lines in this.
One of my favorite ones was when it's funny because it's 80s and this girl like she's like the leader, she's like a communist, right? And she's like plays it off really funny, and it's very satirical, by the way, and she's getting killed, and she's like, "Wait, don't kill me, I voted for Reagan." Like, it's like,
what?
He's like, "You think he's killing you because you're a commie?" You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny. Like, it's not why he's killing you. Like, he's all, and then after he kills her, he's like, respect. He goes, "Just to let you know, I really, I respect the First Amendment, and I respect your right to do what you want to do and believe what you want to believe in. But I respectfully disagree with your outlook on politics." And it was like, what the fuck did that line come? That was, I was like, what the fuck? That shit was really funny. There's just a lot of funny one-liners, man. I don't want to give too many away, but
yeah, my favorite. Well, I'll share my favorite. Well, this is my second favorite one, but it's when he breaks out the buzzsaw to kill another person, and he said, and the person he's about to kill says, "Was that buzzsaw for split personalities?" You're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
There's like terrible lines back and forth between killer and victim throughout the whole thing.
That was a good kill. That
was an awesome kill.
Yeah, she got buzzsawed in the face. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and it's just he just taking everybody out one by one, and then it turns out like there's they don't really. You got the toe cutting scene. He's got the girl's boyfriend, the main dude, laying on an autopsy table, and he's cutting his fucking toes off, and like that's pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal when he's like singing "One Piggy Went to the Market," doing that whole thing. She's sitting in the chair tied up, and then the punk rock singer comes in and starts fighting him, which is really funny. And that's where we get to see. So
it's axe versus lead pipe.
Yeah, and she beats the fuck out of him. He comes back, but after they beat him up, she trips and falls back into this is really funny, into like a sorter of some sorts.
Well, yeah, what the fuck is this machine, and what is it doing in the asylum?
I don't know, but it like supposed to make meat pies or something, and she comes out as a square fucking with her hand dangling out the top and some springs. I don't get it. It was weird.
It was so weird.
Yeah, very cartoonish, but and then they don't really fall much on the boyfriend. Did he die? He's just laying on the table with his toes cut off.
Yeah, he doesn't. I thought for sure he was going to get up and do something, but nah.
And he chases the final girl down, the blonde, who let me just say this, ladies, if you can run like this woman did in heels
and a bathing suit,
and a bathing suit,
yeah, she was moving.
My applause. Yes. Oh my God, I couldn't do that. I'd be breaking my ankles.
And it went from indoors to outdoors and back
right.
indoors, still in the fucking heels. It's impressive.
Yes, she is impressive. Let me tell you what. Awesome. And it just turns out, he thinks it's her mom. Her mom she's like, I'm not Kiki. I'm so-and-so. I'm not Kiki. Yeah. He's all, but I love you. And she goes, I'm their daughter. And then he shows her the newspaper article about them dying. And he's like,
yeah.
Oh, you love my mom. He goes, weren't you the asshole that wanted to put me in the fucking boarding school as a kid? Boom, stabs him on the side of the head. I'm out of here. And she just walks off the asylum grounds down the road. That's
Nothing
over.
happened.
That's it.
What? That's it?
I love this movie. I thought it was great.
Credits. Yeah, this movie is definitely it's bad.
Oh,
but I think it's so bad it's good. I think it is the bad it's good. Yes. And oh God. Yeah, there's another really, really, really fucking funny scene where it's the main guy and Kiki and they get into a hallway and he's like, the killer came from the left. Should we go to the right or the left? And he goes, let's go to the left. Wait, no, to the right. And they just walk away. You're like, what? This is the worst delivery of dialogue I've ever heard in my life.
Oh.
And also terrible logic. And that's when I knew I really liked this movie. That particular scene.
I really like this movie. It's really funny. It's entertaining. I was not bored once. It's got a great pace to it. Budget is very meager. They filmed it obviously in an abandoned asylum somewhere. Maybe they got some type of some film permits to film there. Not sure. But it's clearly they didn't have to use any lighting. I almost feel like it was kind of like the Samurai Cop thing where they filmed this thing entirely during the day. So they probably didn't have to spend a lot on lighting. Because you think about it, there's not one night scene in this movie.
No.
Not a one. It's all during the day. The car accidents, everything happens during the day. So I feel like this is really how they skimped on the budget. But they did. There's some really. I mean, his disfigured face is not that great. But I've seen worse. I've seen better. But
yeah, it's like a weird blend of Leatherface and Freddy Krueger almost.
Yeah, and
it's got elements of both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strange. Some pretty decent gore in it. Some funny kills. Some witty dialogue. Very tongue-in-cheek. It is supposed to be a fucking comedy. And, I feel like it's something that Troma would do, but a lot better.
Oh, yeah, way better.
Way better. Yeah, so way more effective. I don't know if these guys ever did anything more. I didn't research it. But, man, I really liked this movie. I really liked it. I mean, it's not a 5 by any means.
No.
But it's definitely probably a 3.5 to a 4 for me.
Yeah, so there's also, I feel like there's a lot of jokes that we may have missed because it seems like, because with the Reagan stuff and all those other things that was kind of the kind of political stuff that was going on at the time, I guess the movie was made. There's a lot of little jabs about those things. And I'm sure there's some jokes that didn't hit with us now because, we weren't really paying attention in the early 80s what all was going on in the world. So I feel like we probably missed a few things that were probably way funnier when it came out than it is now. But yeah, I mean, I'd give this a 4. I think it's. I mean, you just got to know what you're getting in for. It's not it's a bad movie, but it's definitely so bad it's good. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, $90,000, that's a huge budget." Well. Not in 1982 because you couldn't record a movie on your fucking phone, right?
Yeah.
You're fucking probably filming on film, which was expensive.
Yeah, reels.
You're shooting reel to reel. $90K is a low budget film for that.
Yeah, I want to say 3.5 to a 4. Like I said, I mean, it's a fun movie, man, and it does not try to pretend what it's not. And let me just tell you, the main actress, what a doll. She is so cute. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, even watching her, she was just swoon. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she again, I'm like, whoa, she did Penthouse. Google it. It's like she's running around the whole movie in a bikini, and which is fine, you know. But
apparently, I rated this a 3.5 on Letterboxd. So
okay, so there you go. We're right around there.
Yeah.
Patty Mullen, like you said, she does conventions still, but she was in Penthouse in 1988, and you know, she was also the Frankenhooker, which I'm glad to see that she does conventions. Great film, and she's from Long Island, and she does not fucking. She uses her Long Island fucking accent in this movie too. What are you talking about? Like, it's so funny, dude. It's so cool. So yeah, guys, check it out. Doom Asylum, 1988. It's also on Tubi, and you can watch this motherfucker anywhere. Buy it. It's really fun, man. Really fun.
Yeah. It's all on Arrow streaming player as well. So if you got that, peep it.
It's great. You guys check it out. So. We will be back when, Mr. Xander, or when are we?
We'll be back in another week, actually.
On the
17th.
The 17th? Oh.
Yes, literally a week from now.
So a week from now we'll be back, and we're gonna cross streams with the Friday Nightmares podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited about our picks. I don't think Scott has sent us one yet.
Yes.
It better not be Munchies too.
Oh, that. He finally apologized on our other podcast for making us watch joysticks. and Heather's been picking nothing but like Naked Gun and airplane movies, and I've had it because I don't like those types of movies.
No, I didn't like them then. Don't like them now.
I know, and everyone's, oh, you got no sense of humor. I was like, yeah, I got plenty of sense of humor. I just don't like those movies. But anyways, I watch them because they're my ride or dies.
What was your last pick?
Rolling Thunder. Everybody wanted to cut their wrists after watching that one.
Oh, you should make them watch Band of the Hand.
I should. That's a good one. That's a Michael Mann, isn't it? I love that.
And it's one of Lawrence Fishburne's early roles, and also who else is in that?
The guy from Don't Breathe, and he's in he's what, the shitty
Lauren
journalist.
Holly.
Yeah.
Lauren Holly's in it. Yeah.
There's a lot of actors.
Roles. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was I think that was man. I don't know what I'm gonna do next with those guys. I might do Red Dawn. I'm not sure.
Somebody just put that out on Blu-ray. I can't remember who. I think it might have been Twilight Time.
I'll tell you. I could tell you on this show. What my picks may be is like Alien Nation.
Oh shit!
Do you remember Alien Nation?
I forgot that was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Didn't they make a TV show off that?
They did.
Okay.
Miami Connection, maybe.
Yeah.
I really want to pick The Hidden, but it's a horror movie, but it's an action movie, but the show's not. It's not horror. I can't pick The Hidden. God damn, that's such a good movie, though. The Hidden's great.
I'm just going to keep pushing you to get it. Oh, no, it's actually Paul Michael Glazer that directed that, not Michael Mann.
Oh, I don't know why I thought.
That's the guy that did a lot of Starsky and Hutch stuff and he did The Running Man. That's his big.
There you go. Band of the Hand is great. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Back with another episode. I just uploaded our previous episode, and I'll have this uploaded here probably next week sometime.
Look at us having so many shows in a short period of time.
Yes. All right, guys. We appreciate you listening to the Cemetery Gates podcast.
And next time on Did Xander Pick a Porno? Let's see if we can keep the streak going.
Yes. Did you pick a porno? We'll find out. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Whoa.
Later. I got Succubus came and got me.
Are you lonely? Are you lonely?
I'm not, actually. I could lay it on the reg. I'm good. All right, guys. Good night. Later. Bye.
Later.
You've been listening to the Cemetery Gates podcast, featuring Android Virus and Xander Kane. Follow us on Twitter @AndroidVirus, @Xander_Kane, and @CemeteryGates66. Open your eyes!